Are your expectations helping you or holding you back? If disappointment feels all too familiar, you're not alone. In this video, we'll explore how to let go of stress, take control of your mindset, and find real peace. Stick around. This could change your life. The power of expectations. Expectations are like a compass guiding us in life. They give us something to strive for and a clear target to hit. Without expectations, we'd feel aimless, unsure of what we're working toward. But as the Stoics remind us, the power of expectations comes not from the outcome, but from how we handle the process. Stoic philosophy teaches us to focus on our efforts and not the results. For example, if you expect everything to go according to plan, you're setting yourself up for disappointment when life inevitably throws you a curveball. The Stoics would argue that it's not the unexpected outcome that harms us, but rather our attachment to those outcomes. Expectations can motivate and give a sense of purpose, but should not define your peace of mind. When we focus solely on outcomes, we lose control over our emotional state, which can lead to frustration or anxiety. What we can control is our response to what happens, no matter how the situation turns out. This means that instead of being rigidly attached to a specific outcome, we must be flexible and embrace whatever happens with equanimity. By adopting this Stoic mindset, we can navigate life's challenges without losing our inner peace. Expectations are helpful, but should never control our happiness. Only our actions can do that. Unrealistic expectations. Unrealistic expectations are a silent burden we often place on ourselves. We may expect perfection in our work, our relationships, or personal growth. As the Stoics would say, perfection is not to be pursued. It's about finding virtue in the progress. When we demand perfection from ourselves, we set ourselves up for failure and disappointment. Expectations like "I must be the best," "I should never fail," create an unhealthy sense of self-worth tied to external validation. The Stoics encourage us to detach our sense of worth from external results and focus on the character we build through our actions. When we fall short of unrealistic expectations, we tend to feel inadequate. But this is a mindset shift we can control. Instead of focusing on perfection, the Stoics teach us to find peace in doing our best, regardless of the outcome. Life is messy, and failure is inevitable, but it is how we react to failure that defines us. When we detach from unrealistic expectations, we can appreciate our efforts and view setbacks as opportunities for growth. The burden of unrealistic expectations can be lifted when we accept that we can only control our actions, not everyone around us. So, let's stop striving for perfection and embrace the idea that progress, not perfection, is what truly matters. If you're getting value from this video, please like, share, and subscribe. Let's get back to the video. Expectations in relationships. Expectations play a huge role in our relationships. We expect certain things from our friends, family, or our significant others. These expectations might include simple things like regular communication or more significant things like emotional support during tough times. But as the Stoics would say, it is not what happens to us, but how we react to what happens that matters. In relationships, we often expect others to behave in a certain way, but we cannot control their actions. Instead, Stoicism teaches us to focus on our actions and reactions rather than trying to control others. If we expect people to act a certain way and they don't, disappointment can set in. But by adopting a stoic mindset, we can approach relationships with a greater understanding, knowing that people are not perfect. We must be willing to accept that others may not always meet our expectations, and that does not reflect our worth. Instead of being attached to a specific outcome, we can accept and appreciate others for who they are, not who we want them to be. The Stoic approach encourages open communication and relationship flexibility, understanding that each person is on their own journey. By accepting others as they are, we free ourselves from frustration and build happier, healthier, more peaceful relationships. Remember, it's not the unmet expectations that cause suffering. It is our attachment to those expectations. The role of societal expectations. Society often imposes expectations that influence how we live our lives. From the pressure to succeed in our careers to the expectations of how we should look or behave, societal standards can be overwhelming. As the Stoics remind us, what we think of as external pressure is really only the reflection of our internal desires to conform. Society can push us towards goals that aren't ours, causing anxiety and dissatisfaction. It is easy to get caught up in the race to meet external standards, only to realize that they don't bring us happiness. Stoicism teaches us to focus on our path, free from the noise of external validation, recognizing that we don't have to meet society's standards allows us to live authentically. The Stoics advocated living according to nature, meaning we should focus on what we value, not what others dictate. True peace comes when we stop comparing ourselves to the external world and start measuring our lives based on our values. When we focus on what we can control, our mindset, actions, attitudes, we free ourselves from societal pressures. So, let go of the expectations society places on you and begin to define success on your own terms. In the end, it's not about meeting everyone else's expectations, but about living in accordance with your values. The impact of expectations on mental health. The expectations we hold can deeply affect our mental health. When we place too much weight on external achievements, we set ourselves up with feelings of inadequacy. Stoicism teaches us that our inner peace is found in accepting what we cannot change and focusing on what we can. The Stoic practice of amor fati, love of fate, encourages us to accept whatever comes our way, knowing we can choose how to respond. When our expectations aren't met, it can lead to frustration, anxiety, and self-doubt. By lowering these stakes and adjusting our expectations, we can protect our mental health and avoid unnecessary stress. The Stoic approach helps us embrace setbacks and failures as part of the journey, not something to fear. Instead of feeling disappointed when things don't go as planned, we can learn to view the obstacles as opportunities to practice resilience. Lowering expectation allows us to approach life more flexibly, allowing space for success and failure. By focusing on our character, not the outcome, we give ourselves permission to fail without affecting our worth. Mental health is maintained by accepting that we cannot control everything but how we react. The Stoics would say that the path to tranquility begins with accepting the reality of what is and learning to respond with wisdom. Story time. All right, let's take you back. I had just set a massive goal to launch a new healthcare initiative to improve patient care across multiple facilities. Everything was mapped out perfectly in my mind. I'd been working on this project for months and expected everything to go smoothly. I envisioned completing it on time, presenting it to the administration, and receiving the funds necessary to purchase and implement the new systems. But as we all know, life throws us curveballs when we least expect it. The project hit several roadblocks: budgetary constraints, governmental sabotage, and unforeseen technical issues. As each setback piled up, I began to feel the weight of my original expectations pushing down on me. I was frustrated, overwhelmed, and honestly, a little embarrassed. I thought I had failed, not just in my own eyes, but also in the eyes of my team and the patients we were supposed to be helping. For a while, I couldn't shake the feelings that I'd let everyone down. I had built this project up in my head, and now it seemed like it was all falling apart. Then I paused. I reflected on the situation, and I realized something crucial. I had become too attached to the outcome. Instead of focusing on the journey or the progress I'd made, I was fixated on the specific outcome that was no longer within my immediate control. This realization was a game changer. I remembered a key Stoic teaching. We can't control external events, but we can always control how we respond to them. So, I took a step back and focused on what I could control: my actions, my mindset, and how I guided my team through the challenges we faced. I stopped dwelling on the delays and started to adjust our strategy. We redefined our approach, managed the resources we had, and communicated openly about the obstacles we were facing. That shift in perspective allowed me to see the situation not as a failure, but as a valuable learning opportunity. The Stoics say, setbacks are inevitable, but how we respond to them defines our character. And that's exactly what I realized. My responses mattered more than the outcome. So I adjusted my expectations, letting go of the need for perfection. I reminded myself that progress takes time, especially when dealing with complex systems like healthcare. In the end, we still don't have the system. We must continue to perform our duties inefficiently, but we're getting the job done. This experience taught me that life rarely unfolds the way we expect, especially in the fast-paced, unpredictable world of healthcare. But we can control our reaction to those bumps along the road. And in doing so, I found peace in the process, not in achieving flawless results, but in knowing that I could handle whatever came my way. Adjusting expectations to reality. The key takeaway is the importance of adjusting expectations to reality. Setting realistic expectations make us more likely to avoid disappointment and frustration. The Stoics teach us to focus on what we can control, including adjusting our expectations to match our reality. We should aim for the progress and growth instead of expecting perfection. Expectations should guide us, not bind us. Life will always throw us unexpected changes, and we must adapt just as the Stoics did. By adjusting our expectations to what is realistically achievable, we avoid the stress of perfectionism. Remember, it's not the outcome that matters. How we respond to the journey counts. Expectancy flexibility creates space for learning, growth, and resilience. So, the next time you set a goal, adjust your expectations with a healthy dose of realism. Doing so allows you to stay grounded and maintain your peace of mind. Stoic wisdom teaches us that true success lies in our ability to adapt, not to rigidly chase after fixed ideals. Benefits of lowered expectations. Lowering expectations isn't about settling for less. It's about freeing yourself from unnecessary pressures. The Stoics believe that contentment comes not from achieving external goals, but from accepting the present moment. By lowering our expectations, we allow ourselves to enjoy life as it is, rather than constantly striving for something more. It's about practicing gratitude for what we have, instead of being upset about what we don't. When we stop demanding perfection from ourselves and others, we reduce stress and anxiety. Lowering expectations allows us to embrace imperfections, making life richer and more fulfilling. The Stoic approach of focusing on internal growth and virtue frees us from the constant chase for external validation. With lowered expectations, we can approach each situation with a calm, clear mind. This mindset shift leads to greater happiness and peace of mind. So, embrace life as it is, not as you think it should be. When we let go of rigid expectations, we open ourselves up to new possibilities and unexpected joys. Lowered expectations means less stress, more growth, and a much happier life. What have we learned? Let's take a moment to reflect on what we've learned about expectations today. Expectations can drive us forward, helping us set goals and navigate life. But they can also lead to frustration and disappointment when they're unrealistic. We have discussed how attachments to specific outcomes can cloud our ability to appreciate progress and create unnecessary stress. I shared a personal story about a health initiative where I expected everything to go smoothly, only to face unexpected challenges. I felt I failed for a while because I focused on the outcome, not the journey itself. This experience showed me that unrealistic expectations, especially those seeking perfection, often set us up for failure. By embracing imperfections and focusing on progress, we relieve the pressure of unattainable goals. We also explored how expectations shape our relationships. Expecting others to act in a certain way can lead to misunderstandings. It's important to remember that we can't control others' behaviors, but we can control how we respond. Letting go of rigid expectations in relationships lead to healthier, more peaceful connections. We also discussed how societal expectations distort us from our true selves. Only we can define what success means for us. By tuning out external pressures and focusing on our values, we can chart a path that is true to our identity. Adjusting our expectations and accepting that life won't always go as planned can lead to resilience and growth. Life is unpredictable, but how we respond to the unexpected matters most. Ultimately, it's not the outcomes that define us, but how we handle the journey and the lessons we learn along the way. Thank you for watching. I hope this video helped you gain a new perspective on expectations and how to approach them with some Stoic wisdom. If you find this helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And let me know in the comments how you have adjusted your expectations in life. Don't forget to check out one of our other videos. Let's build a community where we can grow together. Free thinker, out!